Welcome to Hope She Gardens and Homestead. Spring is just around the corner. It's one of my favorite times of the year. We're able to get back out into the garden and get things ready for planting, and I hope that you're doing the same thing, and I want to show you a few things that we're doing. There's a few things that are just really taking over, like the oregano here in this patch. It's really taking over, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it under a couple of my fruit trees. That'll give the ground some shade underneath those fruit trees, and that's a good thing. Shade those roots, and it'll really help the fruit trees. I have a few areas that grass is growing up, of course, so I need to get those cleaned out. I'm sure you've got those areas too. And then there's a lot of things going on from the plants that overwintered, and I wanted to show you that. So this is the Japanese mustard greens, and they are going to seed. And they have these beautiful flowers on them, and these flowers are edible. You can eat them, put them in your salad. They're very, very good. Taste like the mustard green. Or you can let them go to seed. Now, also the seed pods are edible if you want to put some in a stir fry or something, because I guarantee you're going to get more than you'll ever use. I mean, look at all this. But I'm letting it go to seed. A lot of them, I'll let them drop in place like the last time, and then I'll save a lot of them so that I can actually put them where it is that I want them. Now this is one of the parsleys that overwintered, and it has not gone to seed yet, but I expect it will soon. Now when it does go to seed, if you wanted, you could take that stalk, cut it off, and it would produce more. You can do that with your mustard greens also, to prolong the life of those if you wanted to do that. Now this is the kale. I have kale all through my gardens, and they're all going to seed pretty much. Now some of the smaller ones are not, but these that are larger, and again, these flowers, they are edible, so you can eat those. Let them go to seed, and then you can put them all throughout your garden. Let the seeds drop, they'll come back up in place. Kale is a wonderful thing to be growing. And here's another plant. Now if you watched any of my videos, you know that these are the kale that the bugs just ate and almost destroyed. The cabbage worm got on them and just really almost destroyed them. We stripped them down to just 2 or 3 leaves on top, and you see how they came back, and then they went through the winter. Now they're going to seed. Gotten a lot of food off of these since the bugs tried to destroy it. Now this is the collard, and it is also going to seed, and I'm going to let it go to seed. There were 5 or 6 other plants around it doing the same thing, but I pulled them up, fed them to my chickens, and I'm letting this one go to seed. And I'll gather that up so that I can put them in a different place, because I don't want them growing here again. And you can see that my husband's already started getting his pepper plants out. Hopefully you too have started your seeds inside. This is stuff that all overwintered. Still have carrots growing back there. Cabbage that overwintered. Things that overwintered. I got food from my garden all winter long. Now, of course, I had a lot of stuff that I had canned and dehydrated, so that I had that, but I got fresh food out of my garden all winter long. Now, to transplant your herbs, it's really easy. You just find the area that you're wanting to transplant. Move this stone out of my way for a little bit. Make sure there's nothing in there that's going to surprise me. And then you just, you don't want this. So I'm going to get that up. Then you just go around the area that you're wanting to get, circling it and lifting it up. You're doing it this way because you really don't want to damage the roots. Here. And the smells here are wonderful right now. Then you just lift up the little pot that you just did. You got plenty of roots. And I'll take it over to the peach tree that I'm wanting to plant it under. Now, the soil here is really nice and loose, and just digging it out has been very, very easy. By hand mostly. Then you just take it. I rough up the underneath part just a little bit, and then pack the soil back in. And as you're packing it in, you want to make sure that there's no air pockets in there, so you push it in around it really good. You bring the mulch back around. And I'll water that in, and by the end of summer, that will have taken over this whole area. Rex. That will have taken over this whole area. And I'm not worried about that because, as you see, you can move it, pull it up any way you want. Now, if you have chickens, that's one of the best ways to keep your oregano and things like that out under control, because I harvest a lot of my oregano for my chickens. They love it. It is a great antibiotic for them. It keeps their insides clean, keeps them free of parasites. It's a great thing. Oregano, a wonderful herb. Now, one area that has gotten kind of filled up with grass is this area right here. This is where I grow my loofahs, over this. And under here, I'm wanting to plant some rhubarb. So I've got to clean this area out. That won't be that great a job because we have been adding compost and manure, chicken manure, and wood chips to this area for several years. It'll come up relatively easy. And it comes up pretty much by the root. So it's not going to take me very long to get this area cleared out, and then I'll show you how I plant the rhubarb. Okay, I have that didn't take long to clear out. Very loose soil from all the adding of wood chips and manure that we put in here. So I've got my rhubarb here. And I believe that there are 3 in each package. So I'm going to get them out. And they have them in the same wood chips that I use. So there are those roots. And those roots. I'm just separating them out, and I'll put them back in the water until I'm ready to use them. Roots. Okay. And we don't want to plant them real close together, so I'm going to do different holes for each one. And if you don't have one of these utensils pointed on this one and flat on this side, you need to get one, because this is the most awesome thing. We found this at a garage sale and I love it. Okay, got my holes dug. Now I'm going to come in with just some organic fertilizer. It's for vegetables and tomatoes. It's 356. It's not real high in the nitrogen. And I don't measure. Kind of like with my cooking, I don't really measure. Okay, now we're going to put these in the ground. Ensure the whole root ball is covered. No, these are some longer. These are longer than the ones over there, so I'm going to have to dig this out a little more. Ooh, nice worms. That's a good sign. Now, as I was digging, I left the soil in because that's got my fertilizer in there. So, let's see if we got this deep enough. This is the biggest one. Hopefully, yeah, that's good. Okay, now I'm going to come around these with some mulch to cover them up so that as they're getting used to this soil, I don't want them to get too hot. This will help hold the moisture in, putting some mulch down, and shade the ground, which is what you want to do. Now, the mulch that I have on hand right now is straw, and I am really liking the straw. It doesn't smother things out, yet it does shield them. Also help keep the grass from growing back. So there we go. Now this is the so the first year of planting the rhubarb, I'm not going to get any out of it. I mean, it's going to grow and it's going to produce, but that first year you're not going to eat from your rhubarb. You're going to wait till the second year, and then the second year you can start harvesting, and it will have spread. It will take over this whole area here, and that's exactly what I'm wanting. And I'll have my loofahs that grow up over the gazebo here, whatever you want to call it. And then I'll have my rhubarb underneath. So no wasted space. Now another thing that's growing like crazy is my artichoke plant. I've got quite a few pups in here that I need to transplant into other areas so that my one can really focus on its own energy instead of trying to send life to its little pups. And they can grow, and it can grow, and I can get my artichokes. So I will be doing, and you do this just like you did the oregano. You get underneath with a shovel, you try not to disturb the roots, although they're going to come out. You just want to be sure you have a good root ball on your artichoke, because I guarantee they're going to grow. So I'm going to hold off on dividing up the artichoke. I'm going to save that for another day because I'm tired. Spring is in a couple of hours. I know it's kind of funny, but it's at 4, it's at a certain time during the day. But spring is on the way. And so I'm gonna divide the artichoke up at another time. I just wanted to give a short little video to show you that there are so many things that you can be doing in your garden right now that are getting you ready for the big planting that everyone is getting ready to do. Dividing up your herbs into different areas, dividing up plants that are growing, that overwintered, resituating things in your garden, cleaning up areas where grass has gotten a little out of control, because that happens with every garden. That's not just yours. We feel like it's a frustrating thing. I don't worry too much about grass. To me, it's just another mulch. I get it out as I can. If I can't, if it overtakes a little area, I don't panic over it. But everybody gets that problem with grass. Grass goes through cement, so it's kind of hard to get rid of. You can lessen it, and it becomes less and less of a pain in your garden, but you're always going to have that problem. And I definitely don't worry with weeds, because most of our weeds are edible. Weeds are a good thing. They bring in the pollinators. They bring in the good insects that we need to take care of the bad insects that we don't need. And that's another thing right now. If you don't see a lot of good insects in your garden, if you don't see praying mantis and ladybugs and the green wingers, go to your local nursery and see if they carry them. If not, there are places online where you can go and you can get some for your garden, because that'll be beneficial. That will help you to take care of the problems down the road. Another thing that helps with keeping the bad insects out of your garden and in control is your companion planting. There's several good books out there, but you can also get on the Old Farmer's Almanac website, and they have a list of plants that go together. So you don't have to spend money to do your garden. And that's another thing that I like to show people, is there's a lot of things that you can do for free or for very inexpensive. Gardening doesn't have to be an expensive hobby. Your whole purpose of gardening and growing your own food is to get a better quality food, higher quality food, more nutritious food, but also less expensive than what we would pay in a grocery store. And as you continue gardening, the less and less money you will have to spend, because you will be saving your seeds and you will be multiplying your plants, and hopefully you'll be sharing and swapping with neighbors who are growing something different than you. So have a great day. Spring is just around the corner. I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite times of year. And so good gardening. Hope to see you again soon. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Give me a thumbs up, and see you in spring. Bye-bye.